For centuries, knowledge has been hidden in plain sight across the sands of time. Whispers of lost civilizations, cryptic symbols, and forbidden histories have been erased or concealed. What if the truth was never lost, but hidden? Welcome to Eye of Ancient Mysteries, where the past speaks and the future listens. Sit back, open your mind, and prepare to uncover the untold secrets of our world. Let the journey begin now. The vanished village of Hoerver, a mystery that still fascinates. The vanished village of Hoerver has become a mystery that continues to intrigue historians, locals, and adventurers for more than a century. Once located on the outskirts of a mountainous region, Hoerver was not simply depopulated, it disappeared almost without a trace. It was as if time itself had swallowed the people, the houses, the memories, and the life that once flourished in this remote yet picturesque corner of the world. In this article, we will take an in-depth look at what the vanished village was, which factors led to its complete depopulation, what legends and facts remain about it, and what this story can teach us today. Geography and location of Hoerver. Hoerver was situated in a mountain valley surrounded by dense forests and steep hills. According to 18th century topographical maps, the village stood at an altitude of approximately 850 meters in a region difficult to access, especially during the winter months. Despite its isolation, the area was extremely fertile. The nearby Hoer River and the rich forest vegetation provided the local population with livelihoods through farming, livestock breeding, and timber harvesting. A brief history of the village. Hoerver first appears in written records around the mid-14th century, during a wave of settlement in the region's interior. The village was small but stable. Chronicles from nearby monasteries mention Hoerver as an industrious and faithful village with about 30 households. Over the centuries, the number of inhabitants grew, reaching a peak of about 400 people by the end of the 18th century. The village had a church, a school, a watermill, and several workshops. Everything seemed normal until, in the late 19th century, the first signs of decline began to appear. Causes of depopulation. Between facts and speculation, economic pressure and migration. In the 19th century, industrialization began in the larger towns. Young people left the village in search of work in factories. Timber production became unprofitable due to new taxes and regulations, while agriculture suffered from climate changes and reduced productivity. By 1900, more than half of the young families had already moved away. Environmental changes and natural disasters. Notes from 1911 mention a landslide that affected part of the village. Frequent floods, harsh winters, and erosion made life increasingly insecure. In addition, water sources began to dry up, leading to severe shortages. Health and epidemic problems. Local lore tells of an outbreak of tuberculosis or typhoid in the early 20th century. Without access to a hospital or doctor, the village was left to its fate. Some families fled, while others were struck down by disease, accelerating depopulation. Legends and myths of a curse. According to one of the most widespread legends, the curse of the Black Widow. doomed the village. The woman, accused of witchcraft in 1702 and burned at the stake, declared that the village will vanish without a trace, just as her life was taken without guilt. Though unproven, this story adds a mystical aura to Hoerver. What remains of the vanished village? Today, few dare to search for the remnants of Hoerver. No tourist trails lead there, and maps mark it only as an abandoned site. Ruins of stone houses, partially collapsed walls, and foundations recall the life once lived there. The church bell tower, the only structure that still rises above the terrain, reminding of the community. An old cemetery gravestones from the 17th century preserve the memory of Hoerver's residents. Fragments of daily life, shards of household pottery, tools, and implements reveal details of everyday existence. Carvings and inscriptions on trees, likely left by the last inhabitants as testimony to their existence. What does the vanished village symbolize today? A sign of the transience of human presence, Hoerver reminds us that, no matter how deeply connected we are to a place, nature, time, and social processes can entirely alter its fate. A warning for present-day small settlements, the village's story remains relevant today, as depopulation of rural areas is still a serious problem. A value for cultural memory and tourism, vanished villages like Hoerver could be included in historical routes that preserve the past and inspire new generations. Plans for restoration or memorial. In recent years, ideas have been discussed for preserving the memory of Hoerver. Historical route, a trail with signs showing the locations of former buildings. Memorial plaque, inscribed with the names of the last known residents. Digital archive, an online database with photos, genealogies, and documents dedicated to the village's history. These initiatives are still seeking funding, but could breathe new life into the memory of Hoerver. Conclusion: the vanished village of Hoerver remains one of those stories that combine reality and mythology, human drama, and social lessons. It was not merely erased from the map. It left a lasting imprint on the cultural memory of the region. Today, as people increasingly seek a connection to their roots, the story of Hoerver is both a warning and an inspiration. For the vanished village is not just a place. It is a symbol of loss, transience, and the hope to preserve what we love before it is too late.